what's been on my mind. Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city life. Hey darling, we could get out of town, see the beautiful world around, wanna see it now. Pack our bags and get in that car, leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Farm and Pastor's Wife. I am so glad you're here. If you're new here, my name's Leslie and you're down here in my kitchen and I am thrilled to have you here. If you're not new, welcome back, and you guys know how much I love and appreciate you. Hey, if you are new, I would love for you to hit subscribe, hit that bell notification. Be sure to leave me a comment and share my videos on your social media. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Hey, I did not think this video was going to get made. I was struggling this morning with this video. We are actually getting chickens back. If you're new here, my husband and I both, my husband's a pastor, hence the Farm and Pastor's Wife. We also have a commercial poultry operation and a cow-calf operation. So we are busy, busy, busy. And today we were getting chickens back. So I didn't have to go help with that. And the reason being was I had to go to the grocery store to get a few things for today's and tomorrow's video. And I got home. I was getting ready to start the video. Bryant called. He says, we've had something break at the farm. I need you to run to the farm store to pick up some parts. So I put off the video and I went and did that. I got home. I was getting back out, starting to make the video, and my son called me. He has a little fencing business he's starting up, and he was working and something he had broke. And so I had to carry him another one. So it has been, I was beginning to think that the video was not going to happen. And what I've actually done, the video I had planned to be today's video, I've switched with tomorrow because it's a little bit more lengthy. And so anyway, I just switched videos around. So let me tell you what we're making today. It is so nice here. Look, I'm in short sleeves. Y'all don't ever see me in short sleeves. I am in short sleeves. It's going to be close to 70 degrees and it is beautiful. And so that makes me wanting something kind of spring-like or something that I normally fix in the summertime or during the warm times of the year. So we're going to make a macaroni salad. But we're going to have a tuna macaroni salad, and it's not hot. You serve it cold. Let me get some water started on. I need to go ahead and get that going. I'm just going to come over here and get that going, and now we'll talk about it. I have also been struggling a little bit, needing to get a little bit more protein in my diet. I'm sorry, I'm squeaking the tripod. Yes, I need a little bit, just not for weight reasons or anything like that, just for muscle reasons, for just to feel good. I've just slacked off on the protein, the meats and so forth. So this was something that sounded really good to me. And so I wanted to see about, I thought that might help me eat a little more protein. I have a little over, it's probably about 12 ounces of macaroni. The measurements I give you today will be based on a single serving, which would be an 8-ounce box of macaroni. But I have a little bit more than 8 ounces here. So if you see me put more than what I'm telling you, that's why. So, okay, I'm going to set that aside and wait for my water to start boiling. I will salt my water really well once the water comes to a boil. My good knife is dirty. That's fine. I could wash it. I am going to chop some onion. Now, Bryant is not a big fan of onions, so I don't put a lot in here. but I would say about a half a cup for 8 ounces of macaroni. A half a cup. I'm probably going to go, I don't know. I probably won't even measure it. But for general rule, a half a cup of onion chopped really fine, for Bryant, that is. Because he doesn't like he likes the flavor. It's just not it's the texture he's kind of opposed to. So I cut it really fine for him. So I'm going to get you guys turned down here. I'm not sure how much onion this is going to be. I would say this was a pretty large onion. You know, a small onion would probably be plenty. It is absolutely a beautiful and glorious day. We had the marriage retreat this weekend, and it went beautifully. Now, the ingredients we are kind of purist when it comes to this macaroni salad, but the options are endless. You could put peppers in this. You could put celery. You could put I've seen something similar done with green peas, in that, like frozen green peas. And I think that would be wonderful, but Bryant, again, is not a fan. Now, I may or may not put all of these onions. We'll just wait and see. So my onions are now chopped. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start mixing up the cream mixture. Okay, guys, I said cream mixture, but I was really meaning like a creamy mixture, which the base of that is mayonnaise. Now, for an 8-ounce box of macaroni, I would do a cup of mayonnaise, and I'm actually going to go a little bit more because I have a little bit more than 8 ounces of macaroni. All right, and what I actually should have started in here with is the tuna, because I like to break it up with a fork, but I can do that in the mayonnaise. So let me grab, I may go heavy on the tuna this time. Normally for an 8-ounce box, I would do 1 can of tuna, but since I have more than 8 ounces, I'm going to use 2 cans and just go a little heavy on the tuna. All right, I've added my tuna in. And I'm just making sure there's no big chunks of tuna. I like it mixed in really well. All right. Let's go ahead and add some of our onions. All right, I'm going to grab some salt and pepper. Let me grab the salt and pepper and our sweet pickle relish. All right, so we're just going to add a little bit of salt in here and a little bit of pepper. And I'm going to, for an 8-ounce box of macaroni and 1 can of tuna and 1 cup of mayonnaise and, you know, a small half a cup of onion or whatever, I would add 2 tablespoons of pickled relish. I'm going to add 3. And listen, if you guys are not a fan of that, leave it out. Or if you want less mayonnaise, whatever the case may be, you can always add or take away from this based on your preferences. I can see now I may add a few more of the pickle relishes, but I'll know more when I add in my macaroni. But my water is still working on coming to a boil, so we are ready, all but adding in our macaroni. And I'll probably top this with some green onions just to make it pretty, because I really did. I don't know that I like the taste, but I like the looks of seeing macaroni salads with the green peas on it. And I thought, so, well, I know he don't like green peas, so I can't add that, but maybe I could add some green onions on the top. And I have found that Bryant's not necessarily opposed to green onions as much as he is chopped onions. So, all right. So I'm going to find the lid for my pickle relish, which is behind me. Going to wait for my macaroni to come to a boil. Now, let me see what the box says. The box says to cook the macaroni 9 to 11 minutes. I will go no more than 9, and I'll probably go maybe 8.5, because I do like this macaroni to have a firmness to it in this pasta salad. I like for it to have like a little bit of a bite, to be al dente. And so I am probably going to do that. I have made this video once before, way back. My water's boiling. Let me get the macaroni going. I forgot to add salt, so let me add a little bit of salt to that. Okay, so we're just going to wait for that to boil. But as I was saying, I looked back and I was in the blue kitchen, and I've only made it one other time. So I thought it's time to make this again. And I'm sure I've made it lots since I made the video. But this is definitely a summertime favorite. We used to have a fifth wheel camper, and we would go camping. And this was always in the refrigerator. It was something, if you were hot outside and you came in and you wanted something to eat, but you wanted something kind of cool and refreshing. I had a hiccup, sorry. Cool and refreshing. You just got this out of the refrigerator and got you a big spoonful. It's great as like a side to a sandwich or whatever. It's just really, really good. So I'm going to finish getting this made and get it in the refrigerator. I'll bring you back once the noodles are mixed up or cooked and we mix the noodles up. So stay tuned. We will be right back. So I know most of you on Mondays are used to an Acts study, and we will discuss it real briefly, but it won't be an in-depth study like it has been the last couple of weeks, because I was not the one who taught last night. I had somebody else teach because my week was full preparing for the marriage retreat. So we will kind of just briefly hit Acts, I think it was 17, Acts chapter 17, but we'll do that after the macaroni salad is put together. So anyway, all right, I just wanted to give you that update because I know a lot of you are really, really enjoying the Bible studies on Monday, but I wanted to tell you why it wouldn't be very, very in-depth. So stay tuned. We'll bring you back just as soon as the macaroni is done. All right, everyone, the macaroni is draining in a colander over here, but what I want to do is turn the cold water on and spray it down really good and kind of shake it around. I want it to stop the cooking process because I don't want them to get mushy. And now we're just going to let it drain and dry really good, because the drier your noodle is, the less watery your salad will be. And the more mayonnaise mixture will adhere to the macaroni. I'm telling you guys, this is such a wonderful, wonderful salad. It is so good. It's just delicious. One of my favorites. So I'm going to wait for the macaroni to drain. I'm going to shake it out a little bit, and then we'll come mix it together. It is good to taste now while it's warm, but it's even better cold in the refrigerator, and it's even better a couple days down the road. Like the more it sits, the better it gets. So, all right, let me shake that out, and I'll bring you back when we mix it up. Since I'm not exactly sure how many noodles I have, this is where we'll see if I need to add some more mayonnaise or whatnot. So let's get you turned down here. And we'll add our macaroni right in. Ooh. I'm going to save my colander because I'm going to be doing some more pasta in just a little bit for tomorrow's video. Oh, I think the mixture is going to be absolutely perfect. Oh my goodness. It looks perfect. All right, let me grab a spoon or a fork, and I'm going to give it a little taste. But this is how we will serve this. I will let this sit in the refrigerator and get good and cold, and maybe make tomorrow, maybe make some sandwiches for lunch or supper, and we'll have this as a side. But let me grab, let's grab a fork. I like that that tuna was not very chunky. I like a good chunky tuna, but that is so good. Oh, and by the way, when you use an onion in here, I would definitely use a sweet onion. Oh my goodness, that is so good. I think the only thing it needs is maybe a little more salt. And that's just per my preference. You may not think so. This will definitely be going in my cookbook. I don't think I have it typed up yet, because this is definitely a family favorite. This piece of hair is getting on my nerves. It is definitely a family favorite, and we will definitely be making this. So I am putting this in the cookbook. All right, guys. I'm going to get this in a bowl with a lid, get it in the refrigerator, and get it cooling so we can enjoy it as a side dish maybe later on today. Now, be sure to come back tomorrow. We're making another pasta dish. We're making Cajun shrimp pasta, and it's going to be made with just stuff I happen to have laying around. It's going to be a quick, easy, how you can make a fancy dish with, the only thing I had to go buy was shrimp. I did have to go buy the shrimp, but I had the pasta, because you can use any pasta you want. I happen to have some farfalle, the bow tie pasta, but I did go get the shrimp. Now, I bought shrimp that was on sale. It's not my preference. I would have preferred raw shrimp, peeled, deveined, tail off, you know, where I didn't have to do anything but cook it. But I got cooked, peeled, deveined, tail on. So I am going to have to do a little bit of work of pinching the tails off all these. But I don't necessarily have to cook them, which is fine. I mean, I would have preferred to cook them, but it's fine. So really, I just have to heat them up and put them in the dish. But we're going to make this together. That's tomorrow's supper and video. So let's go just real briefly. I'll kind of give you a quick abbreviated update on Act 17. And yeah, so I'll meet you in the den in just a second. Hey guys, the reason I do the recipe first is for those who may not be interested in the Bible study. They can watch the part of the recipe and then head out if they want to. And those of you that want to stick around, make sure my mic's still on. those of you that want to stick around for the Bible study, you can. Now, I'm ashamed to say that it's going to be really brief because I just ate some more of that macaroni salad. It is so good. It is one of my all-time favorite things. Yeah. And it's got me ready for summer. But anyway, I did not do the studying and the digging and all that good stuff like I normally do because I wasn't teaching last night at our Bible study. And the reason I didn't teach last night, or I don't ever really teach, I facilitate. But I do prepare. But this time I didn't because we were so busy preparing and getting ready for that marriage retreat, which was wonderful, by the way. So let's just briefly go to Acts 17. This will be quick. So we see Paul is now going on another journey. You know, he just had that miraculous escape from prison, or where the earth quaked and the chains fell off, and the guard was getting ready to kill himself because he thought he had let all the prisoners escape. And Paul said, no, we're all here. And the guard came to know the Lord, and so did his family. And so it was just a wonderful thing. So Paul is getting ready to travel some more, and he's going to head to Thessalonica. And Paul's strategy of missionary trips was he would go to big cities, preach there, and then let them disperse it from there. He had a strategy to go to the populated places and so forth. So when he comes there and he's explaining the scriptures to them, he goes to the synagogue, he's explaining. Many come to know the Lord. It says God-fearing Greeks and a prominent women came to know the Lord. So they were excited. So some people joined on. So the religious leaders hear about this and they're angry because this is a new thing. And this is not what they're used to. And so they're angry and they enlist a bunch of people to start a riot. They do this fake riot to get Paul and Silas in trouble. So they went to look for them. Paul and Silas have caused this riot, and so they send people to go look for them. Well, they go to the house that the man that was housing them, his name was Jason, he was housing them. Paul and Silas are not there, and they arrest Jason. Well, they end up letting him go. Somebody posts bond for him, lets him go. So Paul and Silas flee to Berea, or Berea, there's two pronunciations of it. As soon as they got there, they went to the synagogue, and now their tactic was a little bit different with them. They reasoned with them. Let's see. It says the Berean Jews examined the scriptures. They received the message with great eagerness. They were excited about the message they were hearing. And then they examined the scriptures for themselves. So they were excited about this new, and they connected all the dots because Paul would take them back to the Old Testament and prove to them that Jesus was the Messiah. So they connected all the dots and were like, yes, this is it. And so listen, the people from Thessalonica are still upset. They find out Paul and Silas are in Berea, and then they send people over there to cause problems. You know, it's like, all right, they're out of your town, leave them alone. But no, they want to go throw a fit over here in Berea. And so the Bereans, they outwit the enemies. They send Paul and Silas off behind closed door and protected them. And I thought it was very unique that how important it is to protect the anointed ones who are bringing you the message, and how dangerous it can be when you stir up strife or cause problems with anointed people who are sharing God's good news and so forth. So they escorted Paul and brought him to Athens. So now Paul is in Athens. And he was greatly distressed to see the city full of idols. Now we know Athens was a Greek, and so we know about all the Greek gods. And they had so many gods. They had, I mean, it was like a god for everything. And they were handmade idols. And they even had one to the unknown God. It was like, okay, we've got this God covered, this God covered, this God. And just in case we've missed one, let's make the unknown God. And so Paul began to share the good news with them. And not some came to know the Lord, but not all. And he shared with them, he says, look, you're making the things you're worshiping. You're making what you're worshiping. Why don't you worship the God who created you? And some come to know the Lord, and I'm not doing this justice. So please go read chapter 17. It says, therefore, since we are God's offering, we should not think that the divine being is like gold or silver or stone, an image made by human design and skill. In the past, God overlooked such ignorance. So he calls it out. He says, this is ignorant. But now he commands all people everywhere to repent. For he has set a day when he will judge the world with justice by the man he has appointed. He has given proof of this to everyone by raising him from the dead. When they heard about the resurrection of the dead, some of them sneered, but others said, we want to hear you again on this subject. At that, Paul left the council. Some of the people became followers of Paul and believed. Among them was Dionysius, a member of Areopagus, and also a woman named Damaris, and a number of others. So some came. And our book that we're studying, the Be Brave, I think it's Be Brave, book, brought out, not as many came to know the Lord in Athens as did Berea and Thessalonica, but still, one soul is worth everything. And as you go about your witnessing and sharing the Lord, just remember, you may not see a huge harvest, but one soul that you impact is worth everything. And so, yeah. But so basically, it's just chapter 17 was just some more missionary trips of Paul and Silas. And some of them Timothy was on, and some of them Timothy was not. But it brought out in Thessalonica, he reasoned with them, which means he kind of just talked. He says, ask me a question and I'll answer it for you. Let me talk to you. And then he explained the scriptures. He took them back to the Old Testament and shared with them how it said, it already had told how the Messiah was going to come. And then he proved through the scriptures who Jesus really was. So he definitely had a strategy in Thessalonica, well, in all towns, because he always dealt with people differently. He met people where they were. If they were high in knowledge, he could speak high in knowledge. If they weren't, he could bring it down to layman's terms. He met people where they were to share the gospel. And that's what we are all called to do too, is meet people where they are. Don't wait for them to come through the church doors before you share Jesus. Share Jesus right where they are. If you're walking by a homeless person, share Jesus. Tell them Jesus loves them. Bryant and I had a situation one time when we lived in Winston-Salem. Before we went into ministry, he and I both worked at Sears, and at that time, Sears didn't have loss prevention. The managers were kind of their own loss prevention, and if we saw someone stealing at that time, you can't do this now, but at that time you could stop them, confront them, and all that good stuff. You were actually expected to. Now it's no longer that way, but we were in Winston-Salem, we had gone to Staples to buy something. And we heard the manager going, "Stop, stop." And we see this guy running up the aisle, and we had just come in the front door. So he was trying to get out. So we were standing in his way. And Bryant just grabs him and takes him down to the ground. Not harshly, but takes him down to the ground and holds him till the manager could run up there. And he's actually holding him kind of in a hold, holding him waiting for the cops or the manager or whatever. And the manager says, "Just hold him. I'm calling the cops." And so I got down on my hands and knees while Bryant held him. And I asked him, I said, "Why are you doing this?" And I asked him about, "Why are you stealing?" And he began to cry and tell us he had had an addiction and he had been clean for a really long time, but he had just recently fallen off the wagon, and this was supporting his habit. And I looked at him and I said, "You know Jesus wants so much more for you, don't you?" And he just cried. Got him up. We carried him to the manager's office while we waited for the police to come in, and witnessed to him the whole entire time. And as soon as the cop comes in there, the cop was kind of all big, bad, and gruff. "All right, where are you? Stand up." And I looked at the cop and I said, "Wait a minute." I said, "We are going to pray with him." And so before we left that manager's office, the manager, me, Bryant, the cop, and the young man who was caught stealing, all were praying together. And do you know, he hugged me and Bryant both before they carried him off. And so that's a fun story. It's not a fun story, but it's a good story of you use whatever situation. I mean, he could have spit on Bryant because Bryant stopped him from getting away, but he was receptive at that time, and we shared Jesus. Even though he was stealing, I got down on my knees on the ground and I said, "You know Jesus loves you, right? And he wants more for you than this. And you can overcome this." And we did. Bryant will tell you. He'll tell you that story. He calls the hold, he had him in the cross-face cradle. Those of you that are wrestling people, you probably know that hold or whatever. But anyway, I've often wondered what happened to that gentleman. I hope and pray the word stuck. But even if it didn't, it'll always be in here and he'll always remember. So just meet people where they are, no matter where you are. So, and share Jesus. The world needs him. So, all right, I'm going to end today's video here. I'll see you guys next time. Remember, the grease is hot enough. You can fry anything. And tomorrow's recipe is going to be so good. I'm so excited. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.